GST Council has finalized the GST rate slabs. It's going to be a 4-tier structure, and the fact that we've got a consensus on the rate slabs and cess is of course a big step forward. Now all eyes will be on today's meeting, where we will get more details on dual control, and then of course it puts us in the winter session of the Parliament, which starts on the 16th of this month. Mariwala, the chairman of Marico, joins us on the phone line. Good morning, sir. First, if you could tell us for the company per se and the products, which would be the tax, in which tax slab would you be applicable?
I wish I knew that, because we have a range of products starting with edible oils to processed foods to hair oils so I think depending on the category of products we are in, we will get into the right slab, but it's very difficult for me to say what will get into which slab. But looks like the edible oils will get into the 5% slab, and hair oils may get into maybe 18% slab. But this is guesswork. I don't know. I think we'll get to know about this within the next 2-3 weeks, Yeah.
So, with edible oils, perhaps at 5%, hair oils maybe at 18%, this would be lower than the tax that you're currently paying, right? So for Marico, directionally, can we say that, the amount the company pays as tax will be low under GST?
No, let's not come to any speculation unless we know where it's going to fall, then, because this is all speculative. So I would not like to guess whether, but I think even if it may be lower, it may be marginally lower or marginally higher. So I don't think it is going to make too much difference to companies, because the basis on which they have decided to have the 4 slabs and fitting in products into each slab is depending on what is the current level of taxation which are borne by these slabs, by these categories, So I don't think it is going to make material difference either up or down as of today, but we'll have to wait and watch.
All right, Mr. Mariwala, just hold on to that thought. We're getting some important information that's coming in. One would have thought that ITC and Axis Bank could be under pressure, because now we're seeing some offloading in L&T, but agencies, they state that in fact there's no plans yet. Government has no plans to sell stake in ITC as well as Axis Bank, and that's why we are seeing some further support that's coming in from Axis Bank. Now the stock has recovered from the low point of the day. We get up the intraday chart, that'll tell you the real picture. But Mr. Mariwala, there is various talk that if one GST is implemented, that could change your working capital requirements. If that's true, could you tell us, explain to us, will that change it, and how will it really change it?
I think it may take some time for us to get the credit in terms of whatever we pay, but marginally I think it may go up because of these reasons. We'll have to. But I don't think for an FMCG company it will make material difference in terms of cost, because you'll also save a lot on other costs like logistics costs, distribution costs, warehousing costs. So I think we'll have to take overall perspective of GST and not just look at one part of GST.
Right. But Mr. Mariwala, in terms of working capital requirements going up, you must be working with some numbers at least. I mean, give us a sense. What could that percentage increase be?
I think it will be marginal. In my opinion, it may not be substantial.
Okay.
And for FMCG companies, we don't have liquidity issues. So, at one level, in most FMCG companies, we will not have any problem. But maybe some smaller traders, if they require, or smaller manufacturers or capital good manufacturers, where there could be liquidity issue or liquidity shortages or liquidity pressures, then I think those are companies which may have to put in some extra working capital towards it. But I don't think FMCG companies will have any problems.
Mr. Mariwala, from an industry point of view, first, do you believe the 1st April deadline will be met now? And secondly, how do you perceive the inflationary impact of GST? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think on the inflationary impact, I would say that because they have decided to have these slabs, it may be controlled, and I don't see inflation happening. Only thing we have to wait and watch what products will go into which categories. But as of now, it looks like inflation will be under control. What is the second question? Whether the 1st April deadline? I think the government is working very, very hard, and they're really moving very fast. I have not seen this kind of speed and determination to launch in any of the earlier big moves of the government. So we see a lot of action on various fronts, starting with IT to the registration to deciding the rates. So I think they are determined that they will launch on 1st April, and I think there are good chances as of today it being launched on 1st April.
All right, Mr. Mariwala, going ahead, we could see some kind of changes in these taxes as well. So I wanted a quick breakup. Could you help us out with how much of your revenue is coming from coconut oil, how much of it comes in from Saffola, as well as value-added hair oils?
I don't have it. I don't have it.
Broad number, sir.
No, sorry. No, I don't have it percentage also, so this is difficult for me to give. I don't want to hazard a guess, 25% is straight away from international business, so balance 75% comes from all these,
Okay. So do you also put, this GST, so I'm not asking from Marico or an FMCG point of view. On FMCG, you said there shouldn't be a material change in the taxation structure for the industry per se. On which sectors do you perceive a negative impact on based on what's announced in your initial assessment, and which sectors will see a positive benefit?
Yeah, the fact that there are so many rates, there are four categories. I don't think there are going to be material impacts because of the higher or lower tax rates on any sector. This is what it looks like. That's what the government's intention is. So I think two-way intention. One is controlling inflation, and number two, ensuring that all the stakeholders are not really positively or negatively impacted. And it looks like I think they're on the right track on this front, So I really don't think that as of today, most companies, the current level of taxation, which is more on the products they are manufacturing and marketing, would be in the same range, marginal 1 or 2% here and there, but I don't think it's going to make a material impact, except maybe the thin goods where the tax rate may be much higher,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sir. We leave it at that. Thank you so much for your time this morning.